February 12th, 7:30 PM, and this is a meeting of the Town of Lakeville Agricultural Commission, and we are meeting here at the Senior Center. We are being recorded by LakeCAM. First things first, we're going to check on the minutes from the prior meetings.
Thank you.
Everybody can just take a moment and look it over. Questions or concerns? I would certainly entertain a motion when anybody's ready.
I make a motion to accept the minutes of the previous meeting.
I second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, accepted the previous meeting's minutes. Next item on the topic, next topic on the agenda is the Winterfest outcome. Dave Thomas and I represented the commission at Winterfest. We had a pretty good, I think, outcome. We were over here in this building. We certainly didn't have the foot traffic that they had on the other side, but we had a lot of people interested in the fact that the commission exists, and we had a lot of good discussions with folks, so that went very well. After speaking to the organizers during that day, I suspect that we'll also attend future Winterfests with different topics. Kelly, do you have any input on how you think it went for everybody that day?
I was happy with the foot traffic and the interest in the table that you had going. You had a lot more people in the building this year than last year, and I think it was some good exposure.
Okay. There's nothing more on that. We'll move on to the equine meeting that we had scheduled in March. We have booked the senior center, I believe, from 6 to 9 p.m. on the second Monday in March, which would be the 12th. I spoke to Jared Darling this evening by phone. He was unable to make the meeting due to a family illness. He tells me that we do have a confirmed speaker for that particular meeting, and as far as he's concerned, everything is all set so that we can have the spring equine meeting that we had spoken about previously.
And what time was that again?
We booked the COA from, I believe, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. My intent was to probably push our meeting an hour forward. That particular night, maybe we'll meet at 6:30. The AgCom will have a brief meeting and then just transition right into the equine meeting. My fear is that if we tried to do it after our meeting and we start talking about 8, 8:15, 8:30, attendance will drop, but I think if we do something around 7 o'clock, we should probably be able to accommodate anybody that would be interested in that. And Jared's thoughts are that we will do a mailing shortly that will go out to all the stable owners, the stable licenses in town, so that everybody's aware that that meeting is still on. Anybody with anything else on that? Okay, next item on the agenda would be the farmer's market. I approached the town. I went and spoke to Building Commissioner Nathan Darling regarding us putting on a farmer's market. He had also referred the information that was initially provided to me by Kelly over to the Board of Health. As far as the building commissioner is concerned, there are no issues with having it on town property. He would have to check with the town's insurance company just to make sure that we don't need any special binders to do it, but he believes that we're covered for that. They just went through a similar thing with the park department over here at Ted Williams, as far as food service and so forth. His concern and the concern of the Board of Health was as far as regulations in the state with food handling. We would need access to a bathroom over there. We would also need a hand washing station that vendors would also have access to. So there is a little bit of concern with that as to how we would make those arrangements. Porta John would cover us for the bathroom end of things. I know that they do the portable hand wash stations as well, and I'm not 100% sure that that's some type of cost that we can afford to incur initially. In speaking with Nate and going over the paperwork that the Board of Health sent to me, there is always a concern with the processing of food and the sale of processed food. Most of that comes from your manager, goes through the manager that does the farmer's market. They make sure that everybody has the certificates for kitchens and so forth as to where things were prepared. But even as it was broken down to me by Mr. Darling, when somebody cuts a watermelon in half, that is now a processed food. So if they were to do something like that on site, those people would need a food handler's license. As far as he's concerned, it looks like we're going to be all set for the town. We should be able to become compliant fairly quickly. The other wrench that's been a little bit thrown into the works is we have a local businessman and landowner, Derek Maxey, who has offered the front lawn of Lakeville Hospital for a potential location of the farmer's market. I have not spoken to him about this personally. This information was relayed to me through Kelly. While I believe that would be a good location, I have concerns as far as traffic. I don't know that the Mass DOT would approve the regular parking on the street for a regular event. It's one thing if, you're having a yard sale on Main Street and for 1 or 2 days and people line the street, but if you had a regularly scheduled event, I don't know that it would be okay with them. The other concern, as I've expressed before at a prior meeting, is that if we have to hire a police detail, that's another cost that we may not be able to afford in starting out. I am going to speak to him a little bit further because I would like to give him the opportunity, as a commercial property owner, to maybe offer that to us. We have to discuss parking and things like that. If he has intent that there'll be a parking area there, traffic-wise, visibility-wise, would be great. They seem to prefer these farmers markets to be on grass. We've got plenty of that there. It may work. So we are moving forward with that.
As far as the other options of hosting it, I think only like around the old town hall and Dicker and Daring Square is the only option I can think of.
As I think we hit on at a prior meeting, the problem with using the square is that if people are crossing the street, now you have a traffic concern there.
Right.
And I don't know that I don't know whether the church would allow,
Well, I think parking might be an issue there
Parking, yeah.
too. So,
No.
I don't know if Lakeville Library is closed on Sundays,
They,
are they?
yeah.
the library's closed. The only thing that was mentioned to me was that we would have to discuss with the people that maintain the sprinkler system there to make sure that the sprinklers didn't come on at the time during a potential farmer's market. Again, I do like that location as well. Being town property, I think we would have some type of savings as far as insurance and so forth, but you're still looking at the big picture of, you know, restrooms, hand washing stations, and anything else that might come into play as far as the traffic. Any questions from the audience about the farmer's market or the potential?
I'm just gonna throw them out.
Okay.
Would the library open up to use the bathrooms? Is there an insurance thing?
I don't know that the library would open up to use the bathrooms. That would mean staffing the library,
Yeah.
and there would be a cost to them, and insurance-wise, again,
It's always a bigger picture.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything more on the farmer's market?
Just the piece I did follow up with the woman that manages the Mattapoisett market that gave us the list. And just inquired, you know, if we get to the next level, we get through these questions and figure out, you know, that we can make it work with all of her questions that she brought to light for us to go over. Would she be interested in, you know, possibly managing, or would she know somebody to help us, you know, go to that next step? And she said she was going to try and make it to the meeting tonight originally, but she was induced to have her third child tonight, so she couldn't make it to the meeting tonight. But she said she would potentially be interested, you know, depending on how we made out with her questions. And if not, she might know someone else, which is a great thing, because it's, you know, it's hard to find a manager, and it's a position, as you know, with the serve safe and all these other issues that come up, that there's a lot to it. So, you know, when we get to that point, as we get a little further, we might have a lead on somebody that could manage it, so.
Okay. Anyone else?
Is that a once a week thing you're talking about, or once a month, or?
We have not really come down with a schedule. It would, a lot of that would depend on the manager and availability there, and then the interest with people in town. If we did monthly, you know, it'd probably be 6 times in a year that you'd actually get together. We really haven't gotten that far yet. Weekly is a large commitment for both the producers locally and then the manager.
And do you open something like that up to surrounding towns, or is that just Lakeville and that's the goal?
No, we would host it with a specific number of vendor spaces available, and then the manager tries to get a good cross-section as to what works in the community. They do allow people to come in from other towns, so that we get the full benefit of everybody's wares in the area.
She did say, and I'll pass this down too, she did say a big part of the decision-making when we get to the point where we're gonna pick when we're gonna do it, how often, like what day of the week, you know, if you're gonna do it monthly or whatever, is the saturation of markets in your area. So I went into the CMAP website and I printed out a listing of all the farmers markets from Plymouth County, Bristol County. It has all the counties there, but you could look specifically at ours. And that can help us when we get to that point to maybe narrow it down. You know, like Middleborough, for instance, has 2 farmers markets on Saturdays. So it's probably not a day that we would want to look at. You know, Carver has one on Sunday. It's a little further out. It might not be as big of a deal. Although the weeknight markets are also nice, because you catch people on their way home, and sometimes there's entertainment and things going on that people can then pick up their kids and go to the market and, you know, kind of make a family experience out of it too. So there's a lot of different ways that you could kind of look at it, but
Right.
Yeah,
we
we
can
actually,
keep that.
we had somebody stop by during the Winterfest, and he actually came out and stated that he'd like to go to the farmers markets that were more family oriented, that had things going on such as music and face painting and things of that nature.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay. We have nothing more on the farmer's market. We'll move on to right to farm. Did everybody have an opportunity to read some of the handouts on right to farm that we gave out at a prior meeting?
I read them all, and pretty much they all follow the exact formula of the one that was not specific to a town, but all of them changed the disclosure. And some of them added different things that they wanted to be included in the farming, but that's how they all differed.
Right.
And I don't know how we want to make it specific to, like, what do we want to add? Have we gotten that far yet?
Well, I
To make
think,
it more specific to us?
I think with the initial discussions that we had on right to farm that kind of led into the formulation of the Agricultural Commission, we got a little too specific as far as things went, and that's kind of what held us up. I think that we may have to try and pattern ourselves after another, a local community that may be.
See, all of them, every one of them followed this. Several of them added different things, what they considered farming. And this one has a disclosure of 21 days, all the other towns went to 30 days.
Okay.
And those are pretty much the ones that we had handed out, those are the differences, and the only differences.
Okay.
But everyone followed this.
Yeah,
And I don't know if this works for us, if we would follow this, and then add a few things that we wanted to add.
I think I will probably provide this to the building commissioner next
Okay.
and tell him that this is our intent, is that we may end up with this back on the town meeting agenda, maybe tailored a little bit more towards the town. I know that the Board of Health, in prior meetings that we have attended for different things, has expressed an interest in how we proceed. I know that they were going through, or their intent was to go through all their different bylaws and subsections. I have not personally spoken to anybody on that board recently to inquire as to whether that did come to fruition. But I think that should probably be the next step, is where they are, because we're gonna have to make sure that we're on the same page as the Board of Health to have their support at town meeting and to make sure that we don't do anything that's gonna adversely affect things that they have in play. So prior to our next meeting, that's what I'll plan to do, is talk to the Board of Health and talk to Nate Darling regarding the potential. And if we want to just leave that at that, we'll leave that there. The next topic that we had on our agenda, I know that several of us saw on social media the Massachusetts Commission of, or the Massachusetts Group of Agricultural Commissions was having their meeting in Holliston on February 24th, which is a Saturday, I believe.
It is.
I don't know if anyone else is free. I would certainly like to attend that and see what they have to say.
I already registered,
Okay,
so I'll be going.
okay.
I'm not sure yet, but actually Keiko asked me today if I was going, and she said that she'll be in attendance as well.
Okay.
She was not going today, but
All
I'll
right.
let you know.
So, it's kind of my plan, is to go up there. I don't know if anybody else is interested in going, and then Dave, you know, we can probably find a car we can both fit in, Dave,
Probably.
and go. So I just wanted to bring that up, that we're gonna, it's our intention, is to participate with the state, with the Massachusetts Group of Ag Commissions. And last but not least on the agenda, a 4-H update, and I will defer that to David.
I was hoping to have more of an update, but I've been kind of hitting a brick wall, contacting the Plymouth County Extension Office. I did speak to Kathy Campora. She's an admin assistant there. And she said she was gonna get a hold of Valerie Shell, who is the one that's in charge of the 4-H horse clubs, getting them off the ground. I have not heard back from her. I have called since Tuesday, every day, except for the weekend, 2 or 3 times, with no results. I did today talk to Kathy again, and she said that Valerie was on the phone and she will give her a message, call me back, and I didn't hear anything back.
Okay.
I did speak to Nancy to find out what would be a good time to have the meeting with Valerie.
Okay.
To get them together.
So the initial push is gonna be for an equine branch?
Yep, because Nancy volunteered to be the leader of the 4-H horse club.
Okay,
She showed the interest in it, and she wants to get it off the ground. The first steps is getting her and Valerie together, and Valerie supplies a couple of forms and does the Cory background check. And then she will help Nancy get the club off the ground, and also be present for the first few meetings until Nancy feels comfortable.
okay.
That's great.
That's real good news. Move forward with that. Anybody with anything else that we need to discuss tonight? And I am remiss without mentioning that in Tracy Treleaven's absence, Katie Thomas has sat in for scribe here tonight so that the minutes can be taken in case anyone is concerned when they watch us on LakeCAM as to who the young lady is sitting at the board. That's who she is, just to fill in for us tonight. And we appreciate your help and your support.
Any questions or comments?
My head's spinning, but I'll hold off, it's okay.
Okay.
There's just so much that you people have talked about and planned, and I'm just coming into this, so
Okay. And,
I'll be patient.
all right, could we get your name? And,
Linda Curran,
okay, and where do you, what street?
Taunton Street in Lakeville.
Taunton Street, excellent. Okay, so if there's nothing further, I'm gonna make a motion that we close the meeting at 7:52.
I second it.
Everyone in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We are closed.